And a very warm welcome to the University of Strathclyde and to the Barony Hall, our magnificent graduation hall. It's great to have so many friends, guests, associates of the university with us today. And on these very special occasions, first and foremost for our graduands who are before me and also up here on the stage, who over the next hour will become graduates of the University of Strathclyde and become alumni of this wonderful institution. We also have a treat, because occasionally when we have these graduation ceremonies, we welcome some highly accomplished individuals to join the Strathclyde family. And today in particular, an inspirational individual, a NASA engineer, no less, Heather Paul, who is a great friend to the university, a fantastically accomplished professional, and someone for whom we have enormous respect. We're going to induct her, if you will. We're going to award her an honorary degree, something that should put even more sparkle on the occasion. So without any further ado, let me formally declare the congregation open, and I will invite Marianne Valentine to introduce our honorary graduate. Thank you.
Principal and Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you Miss Heather Paul. Heather is an engineer at the NASA Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. Upon leaving high school, she attended Auburn University, where she graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering and a Bachelor of Arts degree in Spanish. She continued her education at the University of Texas in Austin, where she obtained a Master of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering. She also has a Master's degree in Fitness and Human Performance from the University of Houston, Clear Lake. Heather joined NASA in 2001 and has worked in the areas of life sciences, propulsion, mission operations, communications, and spacesuit tool and design and development. She has spent the majority of her engineering career on developing life support designs for the next generation spacesuits that astronauts will wear when they explore places such as the Moon, Mars, or asteroids. She has recently returned to life sciences to manage science research for the Human Research Programme and spends 50% of her time working in the astronaut office, where she works hand in hand with the crew, engineers and scientists to understand the crew's perspectives on flight operations and life in space. In her role at NASA, Heather also acts as a science, technology, engineering and mathematics ambassador, known as a STEM ambassador. In this role, she promotes engineering and technology to young people and encourages them to consider STEM careers. Since 2004, she has coordinated, managed and reported on over 2,000 education and public outreach and communications events and presentations on behalf of NASA. She has also hosted more than 70 interactive education webcasts, 2 of which have had in excess of 12 million views. It is through her work as a STEM ambassador that Heather has developed her links with the university, where she has been a regular contributor and supporter of the Scottish Space School at Strathclyde, having given her time and energy to participate in the summer school on 8 occasions since 2005. The Scottish Space School is a programme which aims to inspire the next generation of engineers by highlighting the career and educational opportunities available to young people with an interest in science, engineering and technology. As one of the university's premier outreach programmes, the Space School provides an excellent opportunity for school pupils, particularly female pupils, to better understand the opportunities available within STEM. And role models such as Heather have been hugely influential in increasing the number of applications from female students to technology-based degree programmes at this university. During her visits to the Space School, Heather has provided school pupils and Space School students with an excellent insight into the world of engineering and technology, and enthused over the careers and opportunities available for students with an engineering background. She spends a great deal of time with the Space School students, sharing her personal ambition, life challenges, and journey through education, and how she succeeded in achieving her dream job at NASA. She has had an incredible and lasting impact on thousands of young people across the world, and in Scotland in particular. Whilst supporting the Space School, Heather has also undertaken numerous visits to Scottish primary and secondary schools, as well as delivering the Evening with NASA public lecture, which is delivered during the Space School week. Feedback from schools, local authorities, educational bodies such as Skills Development Scotland, and the Scottish Government has been universally positive and confirmed the impact that she has on prospective students who have not previously considered a career in engineering and technology. In addition to her direct participation in STEM outreach, Heather has made numerous appearances on the internet, television and radio to promote the Scottish Space School and to highlight the importance of science, technology, engineering and maths to a wider global audience. She is a highly dedicated individual who works tirelessly to promote STEM, and she thrives on the opportunity to encourage the ambitions of the young people of Scotland. I am sure that some of our students seated here today will testify to this, as we have a number of Scottish Space School alumni amongst those graduating this morning. But for Heather, it is not just about work, and this is something that she conveys to the prospective students she meets on her travels around Scotland. It's about being an all-rounder, about developing interests and hobbies, and most of all, ensuring you don't miss out on the life experiences which come your way. Health and fitness also play an important part in Heather's life. She is a certified group fitness instructor, personal trainer, and fitness nutrition specialist. She teaches dance, flexibility, and strength and conditioning group exercise classes. She has always had a keen interest in dance, from the days when her mother taught dance classes, and as a young child barely able to walk, Heather would practice her plie in time with the other students. More recently, Heather's dancing skills have been showcased in Glasgow, where only last year she led astronaut Tom Marshburn and the Space School mentors in their own rendition of Mark Ronson's Uptown Funk. The idea for this came from First Lady Michelle Obama's Let's Move challenge, where, as part of the challenge, Heather led a group of Johnson Space Centre employees in their own dance workout. Heather also loves to travel and experience new cultures and places, and she has a real fondness for Scotland and the Scottish people, and she insists that she is trying really hard to learn the local language. During her many visits, she has inspired students to venture into the world of engineering, and the university is extremely grateful for her ongoing support for the Scottish Space School and for inspiring young people across Scotland. She continues to be a STEM ambassador, a role model, and a huge advocate of education and public outreach for NASA. And we look forward to welcoming her to Glasgow and the university on many more occasions to come. Principal and Vice-Chancellor, by the authority of Senate, I present Heather Paul for the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
Heather, I create you Doctor of Science, honoris causa. We're delighted and privileged to have you join formally the Strathclyde family. Many congratulations. Well done.
Thank you. I've been told that this suits me. I feel very comfortable. How do I look? Pretty good? Yeah? I'm feeling good. I don't even know how to follow up that speech, Marianne. That was amazing. Thank you so much, truly. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so very much for this wonderful award. It is truly my honor to be here today to become something I've only ever dreamed of, Dr. Heather Paul. Since 2005, I've had the privilege to travel to Scotland to participate in the space school that Marianne described 8 times. I'm proud and so very grateful for the opportunity to support this program. It has grown so much, and it's influenced so many students around this country. And it's thanks to the very efforts of several people that I'd like to name: Gordon McVie, Marianne Ballantyne, Walter Galbraith, and of course the rest of the staff that runs the program. The students who graduate from the program and then return to volunteer as student mentors, some of whom I am very proud to share this moment with because they are here with me today. And in fact, I'd like you to raise your hands for me. Where are you? I saw one back here. Chris is way back there. Hello. Yes. Chris was actually a super mentor, and he's a super guy. There are several folks back in the United States, Hyang Lloyd, who helps us bring people over to Scotland. The many NASA scientists, engineers, and astronauts who get the opportunity, like me, to travel here to spread the word about the space program and the importance of technical careers. And especially thanks to the support of Principal Sir Jim, the Vice Principal, Professor McGregor. I'm getting pretty good at that, right? And the current and previous deans of the Faculty of Engineering. It makes me so happy to be here today and look out across this room to see so many bright, smart faces that will be beside me today graduating with great honors. It makes me especially happy to see all of the female faces. Nice job, ladies. I distinctly recall that during my first school visits here to Scotland, when I had interactions with students of all ages, when asked, "What is an engineer?" the typical response was, "Someone who drives the train." And even more typically, "A man who drives the train." Now, this wasn't necessarily a wrong answer, was it? But I realized that while I was here to represent NASA and the space program, I also needed to represent the population of engineers around the world that do so much more than drive a train, right? And I needed to represent the very growing population of females in this field. So over the years, I've returned to share my story of what it's like to be an astronaut, an engineer, to fly in space, even though I haven't done the space shuttle flights yet. I hear they're amazing, but I'm hoping, so keep your fingers crossed for me. To discuss what's actually happening with our International Space Program, and to encourage students to consider engineering as a career choice. And I'm very proud to say that while on occasion, I still get the answer that an engineer is someone who drives the train, I also get answers like, an engineer is someone who builds things. An engineer is someone who designs things. An engineer is someone who creates things. And when asked to close their eyes and picture an engineer at work, it's not always a man that they see. Oftentimes now, it's a woman. Knowing that I've had any part in that change in view really fills my heart. So I'd like to take a moment to show my appreciation for this award and for the opportunity to be here today with all of you. To the university staff, thank you for providing students with the opportunity to learn and grow at this amazing institution, and for inviting me to support such a successful academic program as the Scottish Space School. To the friends and family that are here today, Thank you for giving all of your love and support to these engineers that are seated in front and behind me. To my mom and sister who are here with me today, thank you so much for all of your love and support and guidance that you've given me throughout my entire life, especially when learning how to dance before I could walk. And to my fellow students, thank you for joining my international team of engineers. I'm proud to have you by my side. I do have a final homework assignment for you, though. I know, you're looking at me like I'm crazy. No, I'm graduating. I'm done with homework. Sorry, I wouldn't be a good engineer if I didn't give you your first engineering challenge. I want you to think about how you got here today. Think about what you have personally done to get to this point and be proud of your achievement. Then, think about all of the people that have helped you and supported you along the way. I'm sure there was one person, possibly many, that influenced you to help you along. Your homework is simple, but it is a lifelong assignment. Because I believe that engineers indeed design, build, and create things. But we also have the opportunity and truly the responsibility to share our experiences with others, to design, build, and create future engineers. So your homework is very simple, and it's to do just that. Realize that you too can be a positive influence on the younger students and generations. And as your career grows, take time to share your experiences to help us grow our team of men and women engineers. Best of luck to all of the graduates today. Congratulations to us all. It's been great being here. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Now, before I leave the podium, I have a favor to ask, and this is truly NASA technical, okay? All right, we ready? I'd like to take a selfie. Is that all right? I'm gonna take a selfie this direction and then this direction. So I'm gonna need everyone to lean in. Okay, all right? Okay, let's see. Let's make this work. Okay, all right. Here, lean in on one. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Some of you aren't smiling. I can see you. All right, let's try this again. 1, 2, 3. All right, and then this direction. Gotta get all of this. Okay, everyone looks good. Adjusting the hats, the collar. Okay. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Principal and Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the University and by the authority of Senate, I present to you these students. For the degree of Doctor of Engineering, for research in the Department of Biomedical Engineering, Ewan Ross Coots. Paul Lawrence Davis. Daniel George Gilroy. Praveen Ramakrishnan. Andrew Charles Ward. Claire Louise Young. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for research in the Department of Biomedical Engineering, Milovan Joe Cardona. Opal Yvette Jones. For research in the Department of Chemical and Process Engineering, Peter Ian Cowan. For research in the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, Abdul Osman Ahmad. Mofta S. Mofta Al-Sheikh. David Garcia Cava. Anastasios Markopoulos. Alessandro Mogavero. Filippo Monari. For the degree of Master of Philosophy, for research in the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, David Andrew Smith. For the degree of Master of Science in Process Technology and Management, Akinloy Babalola Akindele. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Chemical Engineering, Craig John Anderson. Lois Bannerman. Jonathan Begg. Paul Butler. Alison Canning. Tony Clark. Andrew Stephen Connolly. Christopher Connolly. Fiona Elizabeth Curry. Dale Cuthbertson. Stuart Richardson Dempster. Sean Joseph Donnelly. Katie Ferguson. Julie Gilmer. Adam Goldie. Callum Rory Alexander Grant. Michael Griffiths. Halane Binti Hadil. Bradley Hanna. David Stewart Hendry. Olga Ivanova. Claire Louise Johnstone. Martin Joshem Jutt. Daniel Kernan. Claire Lawson. Kai Leddingham. Fiona Victoria Leslie. Mandy Esme McCabe. Josh Robert McClelland. Kieran John Mitchell McDonough. Gerard McIntyre. Ross McIntyre. David McKechnie. Jonathan William Aaron McEwen. Kirsty Elizabeth McMillan. Emily McTeer. Adam William Marshall. Andrew Martin. Callum Stewart Morris. Lisa Jane Munro. Carol Cleland Nairn. Tanmeet Kaur Panasar. Paul Pellegrini. Mark Plunkett. James Ramsey. Callum Neil Redford. Daniel Young Reed. Fiona Mary Riley. Alan Alexander Roger. Penelope Patricia Sentence. Ross Alexander Shedden. Craig Simpson. Fraser Stewart Smith. Luke Mario Stathis. Ewan Sutherland. Chad Ben Tung. Rebecca Vincent. Callum Hunter Walkinshaw. Kenneth Robert White. Jack Wiley. Cameron Fraser Young. In aeromechanical engineering, Scott Butler. John Jerome Coyle. Mark John DeLuca. Christopher James John Doyle. Kelvin Jar Hin Fan. Declan Gilmartin. Simon Grant Houghton Evans. Andrew Lowe. Andrew Thomas John Limburn. Gerard McDonnell. Ross Ian McEwen. Campbell McFadden. Alison Leslie McIntosh. Ross McIsaac. Angus Harry Marshall. Douglas George Marshall. Don Mealish Michael Angelo Pieris. Christopher Brian Pauley. Anastasia Andreyevna Radchenko. Grant Ritchie. Daniel Walsh. Liam Effion Wood. Thomas Roy Yates. Craig Andrew Young. In mechanical engineering, Mohammed Fazil bin Abdul Latif. Cameron Alexander Adkins. Christopher Paul Barrick. Lewis Baxter. Kenneth George Beaton. David Bryce. Aishwariwa Chauwan. Ryan James Coggan. Louis Justin Chukwumeka Koka. Stephen John Connolly. Michael Courtney. Greg Davidson. Jamie Richard Dewar. Kyle Dixon. Craig Patrick Doohan. Kenneth Dunyan. Stephen Foster. Asim Ghulam. Jake Allen Aspen Gillespie. Andrew James Gilmer. Philip Bernard Green. Fraser Henderson. Cameron James Hepburn. Andrew Robert Jeffson. Kirk Robert Johnston. Ross Johnston. Paul Michael Lang. Christopher Lees. Lloyd Donald Lombardi. Beth MacArthur. Craig MacArthur. Andrew William McBride. Thomas Andrew McCubbin. John McIlwain. Cameron McKee. Lucy McLennan. Callum Bruce MacLeod. Louise Elizabeth Mansion. Michael James Manson. Ewan Alexander Marshall. Paul Robert Marshall. Ross Neil Martin. Andrew Fraser Milne. Mohammed Faisal Nizamuddin. Martin Nolan. Robert Duncan Peacock. Mark Samuel Hugh Petrie. Graham Queen. Daniel Douglas Charles Ray. Cameron Reid. Connor Alexander Ryan. Ian Shaw. Jan Gerald Swedlow. Hayden John Vinton. Oliver David Williams. Ewan Robert Wilson. In mechanical engineering with aeronautics, Douglas Cameron Burse. Alistair Ronald McNeil. Ross Nichol. Sam Porteous. In mechanical engineering with financial management, Alexander James Desiderio McGregor. Ruben Christopher Penny. Paulo Enrique de Lima Pica. Christopher Ungrew. In mechanical engineering with international study, Andrew James Allen. Stephanie Hamilton. Katrina Mary Hudson. Katarina Maria Lynch. Mark Andrew Sim. In mechanical engineering with materials engineering, Connor Esplin. Mary Rita Stafford. Jodie Wilson. For the degree of Bachelor of Engineering in Chemical Engineering, Laura Gillian Clegg. Anna McLennan Hume. Akmal Naim bin Amran. Greg Benson. Michael Bowie. Kay Simon Cunningham. Mozen Ali Ashraf Hakim. James Kieran O'Hare. Kieran Doran Gibson. Mohammed Sayamil bin Jamil. Scott Allen McTrusty. In mechanical engineering, Jiyan Danyan. Ian Robert Kerr. James Thompson Wordy. Daniel Agutson. Baoji Shen. Sam Gibson. Scott James Robert McLean. In mechanical engineering with international study, Neil Grant Kennedy. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Prosthetics and Orthotics, Ailey Hanna. Natalie Jane Heaton. Rosina Howatson. Sarah McGilvery. Eileen Marie Morrow. Marie O'Byrne. Francesca Ann Prescott. Carly Scott. Deanna Smith. Laura Kathleen Ann Underhill. Helene Abenstein Shelmo. Kay Ardrey. David Charles Blair. Thomas Robertson. Ailey Salisbury. Christiana Jane Skoda. Alana Stevenson. Zoe Louise Tankard. Tammy Allison Bully. Chiara Italia Foster. Sean Patrick Riley. Hannah Morvan Scott. Charlotte Ruth Walker. Ruth Evelyn White.
I should say to that student, I charge for selfies, by the way. You'll find the tariff at the back of the programme. That goes to you as well, Heather. Anyway, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate our warm welcome to this important ceremony, a day that none of you will forget. It marks the successful conclusion of years of hard work, and you've now graduated in front of your proud families and friends. And you should have the satisfaction that you're beginning the next stage of your lives equipped with an excellent education and a top-quality student experience. And of course, a Strathclyde degree, which is a valued passport to your future careers. Today, we welcome visitors from all over the UK, and indeed from all over the world. And I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you who are here to join in the celebrations. For me as presiding officer, it's a great honour to perform the capping ceremony. It's a simple but ancient ritual, rooted in China of some 2,000 years ago in the Middle East, originally to mark the transition into adulthood. For all of you today, it's been marking your passage now into the next stage of your lives and your careers. And for all of you, when I touched your head with the cap, it was a formal acknowledgement of your hard work. It recognised the days spent in the lecture theatres and the laboratories, the nights in the library, and of course, ultimately, the passing of your examinations. Thomas Edison, the famous American inventor and industrialist, said that genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. And I'm sure that in the Strathclyde students' case, those ratios were much better. But today, you have now become Strathclyde alumni, and you are the latest of our torchbearers, like many generations of graduates before you. And of course, Strathclyde graduates are some of the most highly sought across the UK, and indeed internationally. Companies such as Rolls-Royce, Siemens, GSK, AstraZeneca, and many others, be it oil and gas in the public sector and other parts of the private sector. And it may interest you to know that in a recent survey, Strathclyde was recognised in the top 5 UK universities, producing the highest numbers of chief executives. So you have a great path to follow. But of course, before Thursday, the 23rd of June, the world of work and the world at large had uncertainties to be overcome. Since Friday the 24th of June and the results of the EU referendum became clear, we certainly have more uncertainty to address. University principals and vice-chancellors have much to consider in terms of our relationship with our European friends and partners. Through our research programmes, there are funding matters to be considered, and of course our non-UK European staff that are here already working with us, and most importantly, our current and prospective students from the EU and their ability to engage with transnational education, something that Scotland in particular has had a proud history in. But nonetheless, and importantly for you all today, high-quality graduates, such as all of you here today, are equipped to face the challenges and opportunities that these changes will bring us. By being ambitious, agile and confident in your choosing career paths, I have no doubt that the class of 2016 will be a force to reckon with. Whether you're engineering the future in mechanical and aerospace technology, whether you're in biomedical engineering, prosthetics, orthotics, or in chemical and process engineering, the world is your oyster. And as we go through this recent challenge that we've faced, I'm sure you're going to come to the fore, and we'll be looking to you to build the future, making a big impact on society and the economy. And with all that you've successfully come through now, I know you would agree that you couldn't have done this without the support and encouragement of your families and friends. It's fitting that we acknowledge their part in the successful completion of your university studies. Our graduates, indeed the university at large, owe them an enormous debt of gratitude. As the first in my own family to have gone to university, as it happens, here at Strathclyde University in the Faculty of Engineering, I know precisely the importance of such support and sacrifice that your parents and your friends have put behind you. And I'm sure that today's graduates, as you all are now, and our university staff, would like to take the opportunity to thank your friends, the families, and all of your supporters for all that they've done to make today possible. Thank you very much indeed. The famous physicist Sir Isaac Newton said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants." And there's no doubt, graduates, that your families and friends have provided their shoulders for all of you to stand on. And for our academic staff too, this is a very important day, because your success ultimately is their reward. Strathclyde has worked hard to provide you with a high-quality education and a first-class university experience for all of our students, regardless of background. So let me now invite our new graduates to join with me in thanking our staff for all that they've done to support you in your journey and achievements. Thank you. You should be aware that we were founded in 1796. We're celebrating our 220th birthday this year. And throughout our history, the University of Strathclyde has remained faithful to our founding principles. We were established, and I quote, "for the benefit of mankind." And it is worth noting that we were the only higher education institution to be established here in Scotland during the Enlightenment, a real distinction for Strathclyde to have been forged out of that white-hot, challenging period where society looked to universities increasingly to make a difference, very much as we still have, and we are now driving forward our modern strategy in that same exciting spirit, making it wholly relevant to the 21st century. Our founder, Professor John Anderson, who was a physicist or natural philosopher that had been had then, had very strong links with Benjamin Franklin, the American inventor and academic. Franklin was one of the founders of the University of Pennsylvania in 1751 under the motto of useful knowledge. And this directly influenced our founder, John Anderson, and resonates beautifully with Strathclyde's motto of useful learning. And never has this philosophy been so relevant since our establishment over 200 years ago. The motto, known by all of our staff and students, still defines our purpose as a leading international technological university. And across our campus, and in many of the buildings that you'll have passed here today on your way to the Barony Hall, our academics and students are developing drugs to diagnose and fight disease and illness. For example, we currently have 2 drugs en route to clinical trials, and one of our spin-outs just last week, Mirinid, raised almost £5 million to fund the development of drugs to tackle degenerative kidney disease, cancer and inflammatory disease. Strathclyders are also producing energy technologies and policy solutions to tackle climate change and to establish a low-carbon economy, something that Scotland in particular can make an international impact on. We are revolutionising global manufacturing and helping to create the 4th industrial revolution, the so-called Industry 4.0. Our students continue their work in Africa and India to establish water and power supplies and to develop healthcare systems for remote communities. They are bringing prosthetic limb technologies to those in need in India. Many are working to inform public policy and national economic strategy. They are providing people, importantly, with the opportunities to transform their lives and the lives of their families. And as I referenced, Strathclyde still attracts many first-generation students to our place. And finally, we are giving business and industry the tools that they need to be more innovative, productive, to promote economic growth, and to create the jobs that provide all of us with a quality of life that's more sustainable and healthy. So these are some of the reasons that we've had a terrific sequence of independent recognition of what we do, and just as importantly, how we do it. Over the past 4 years now, we've won the Times Higher Education UK Research Project of the Year. We were UK University of the Year, followed closely by becoming the UK Entrepreneurial University of the Year. And with regard to education, in the most recent teaching quality assessment, we were delighted to achieve the highest quality rating for our teaching activities and our methods, which was direct acknowledgement of our commitment to providing our students with the very best education and experience. And just over 18 months ago, in the UK National Assessment of Research Quality, happening at a cycle of every 5 or 6 years, we were pleased with the results. And those results confirmed that Strathclyde has the #1 physics department in the UK for research quality. We're #4 in chemistry, #4 in pharmacy and biological sciences. 7 of our 8 engineering departments are in the top 10 in the UK, 3 in the top 3 and 4, #1 in Scotland. We have a great business school, #6 in the UK, and our humanities and social sciences keep strong pace in government and public policy, #2 in Scotland, with great results in law, social work and social policy and history. So Strathclyde continues to demonstrate the ability to have a disproportionate impact, mainly and most importantly through the production and education of you, our excellent graduates and postgraduates, but also in the quality of our research and the highly effective ways that we create value and impact through the transfer of our knowledge with industry and our public sector partners. And it should be clear on a strong evidence base that Scottish higher education is fulfilling an important role as a driver for sustainable economic growth, and Strathclyde has a distinct role in this national and international objective. Universities should be seen as a national investment, and with an annual investment from the Scottish Government of around £1.1 billion into higher education, the sector delivers almost £7 billion back into the economy each year. And in a recent independent view of Strathclyde, our university, we were expected to deliver additional economic value of around £1.5 billion to the Scottish economy over the next 5 years, one of the highest contributors in the sector. And as an example of that, almost exactly a year ago, we were delighted to welcome Her Majesty the Queen and His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh to formally open our £100 million Technology and Innovation Centre that sits between George Street and Ingram Street. And you may have seen that enormous building on the way here today. With over 700 academic staff and researchers there, they are working with co-located industry partners on pharmaceutical manufacturing, applied photonics, plasma physics, space technology, informatics, energy technology and aerospace engineering. Thomas Edison, who I mentioned earlier, he called his technical team and his laboratories his inventions factory. TIC, as we know it as, is our innovations factory. And certainly the achievements of my staff and the students of the Faculty of Engineering over the last year gives me great confidence that we're building our impacts. And let me give you just a few short excerpts from what is a very long list of fantastic achievements. So, for example, prosthetic limbs made with technology developed at Strathclyde are to become more readily available through a £1 million grant from Google to create a limb bank. This technology was developed by researchers in Strathclyde's Department of Biomedical Engineering. A group of students from the same department and a number of their lecturers travelled to Chennai in India in January to provide pre-prosthetic and orthotic care to those who would otherwise be restricted to crutches. 7 engineering students were members of the winning team in the European Space Agency Moon Challenge, an international competition with 28 teams involved. The ESA Moon Challenge focuses on human-robotic partnership for lunar exploration. Dr. Mal MacDonald of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering was awarded the Royal Society of Edinburgh's MacDougall Brisbane Medal, and the award was made for his outstanding research in the development and application of space mission systems designed to challenge conventional ideas and advance new concepts in the exploration of space. Formula Student, which is a national competition in designing, building and racing cars, a team of 40 students from the Faculty of Engineering and the Business School finished as the top Scottish team in the UK event at Silverstone recently and the top UK team at the event in Germany 2 weeks later. Carol Nairn, a graduating MN student in Chemical and Process Engineering, has been awarded the prestigious Salters Graduate Prize. These prizes are awarded to students who have potential to be leaders in their chosen industry. And of course, entirely appropriate with Heather being here, we should note other space impacts. Space technology opportunities are being opened up to emerging nations in the Strathclyde-led nanobed feasibility project between the UK and Mexico. This is being achieved by building on the experiences of the development of UCube-1, which is the UCube's first national CubeSat, which was launched in 2013 and was developed here in Glasgow by a company called Clyde Space, in collaboration with Strathclyde University. And technology for the removal of satellites from space is to be developed in the TEASER project, a €3 million programme involving Strathclyde, where the project will carry out initial research for the development of a prototype for a cost-efficient, highly reliable removal module. The goal of the research being the groundbreaking technology to get rid of a generation of space debris to reduce the collision risk with objects and indeed vehicles in space. And related to that, finally, Professor Max Vasile and Peter McGinty of Mechanical and Aerospace appeared on the BBC's Stargazing live series, discussing and demonstrating ways to deflect asteroids and clear space debris. So there is much more we could share with you, but moving on to my graduates. This is the exciting context within which you should view your awards. You are now graduates of a university that places students at the heart of all that we do, that values education and research excellence, and that supports close connections with society at large and the business world. And with regard to internationalisation, the world's best universities compete, collaborate and contribute on the international stage, and we are no different. We have strong and long-lasting strategic partnerships with a number of global institutions. In the United States, that's with Stanford, MIT and New York University. In China, we have close working relationships with Tsinghua and Peking universities. Just last week, I was with another partner, the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. In Singapore, Nanyang Technological University and the National University of Singapore. And let's hope it continues in a strong way, many deep partnerships across Europe through our partnership with CESA, a European partnership for International Technological University. But of course, as well as research, our students benefit directly from being part of an international university. This helps them emerge with the skills necessary to help Scotland play its full part in the world. But our students have also been exposed to different cultures and traditions, as we attract students from over 100 countries. And most importantly, graduates, you leave here understanding your obligations as global citizens. And as well as making an impact on the international stage, we take our local responsibilities very seriously. I have the privilege, as being chairman of the Glasgow Economic Leadership Board, established 4 years ago, trying to capture the same spirit of adventure and ambition as our predecessors did at the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th century, building real capability in life sciences, low-carbon technology, advanced manufacturing, and finance and business. And that group also had a very significant contribution to drive forward the £1.2 billion city deal that was attracted into the country just about 2 years ago. Also, we remain, with some pride, the leading Scottish research-intensive university for widening access to our programmes for students from some of the most challenged communities in Scotland. And this is important to me, so I know the number precisely. This year alone, we've attracted 989 of these students into this place to make sure they have access to an education at Strathclyde. And just in this hall, less than 2 weeks ago, we had the 3rd annual Children's University graduation. I'm the Chancellor of the Children's University, reaching out to communities that attainment levels are low in, but we had 130 youngsters from age 7 to 12 2 weeks ago. And I never tire telling folk of this. I love those ceremonies because I actually look tall when these youngsters come across the stage. Fantastic. Although the 12-year-olds are need to stretch just a little bit. And their mothers and fathers are in this hall, some of them never having crossed the threshold of a university or college. And we have them understand that this place is for them as much as for anyone else in Scotland, or indeed through our international links. And we're looking forward to a cohort of youngsters going forward. Each youngster gets a learning passport. So if they go to the Kelvin Grove Art Gallery, they get a stamp in the passport. If they go to the Science Centre, they get another stamp. If they go to a night class, they get a stamp. When it's full up, they come here and get a bachelor's degree from the Children's University. If they stick in another year or two, they get a master's degree from the Children's University. And to the consternation of my staff, in due course, we'll be admitting to this university people with PhDs from the Children's University into our first year courses. So that's going to be a challenging class, colleagues, but it's a great way for us to celebrate the achievement of these youngsters and their families, and indeed the schools that support them. So if I characterise this place in 2016, I think it's fair to describe us as ambitious, focused, and having momentum. And we retain the agility and commitment to the delivery of our strategy, so necessary to absorb the continuing challenges in our sector. It's a genuine privilege for me to lead this great institution with the superb support I get from my executive team, as well as our broader community of academics, professional services and support staff. And I have no doubt that our founder, John Anderson, would recognise what we are doing today as the realisation of what he sought to establish during the Scottish Enlightenment, truly a place of useful learning. And we now seek in this modern society to be an agent for positive change in Glasgow, in Scotland, across the UK and on the international scene. But most importantly, I am certain that today's graduates will have enormous impacts in society and that 2016 can truly become a vintage year. So, in that context, and as you leave the hall today, you're leaving not only with your degrees, but also with a responsibility. You join now a community of alumni numbering some 170,000 from around the world. And remember that whatever you do with your degree, and whatever you may choose to work on, remember that, as well as academic scholarship, useful learning also means applying your knowledge for the benefit of others, making a positive impact for yourselves and the communities that you belong to, respecting diversity, valuing freedom of expression and thought, and reaching conclusions and resolving disputes by reason. These represent the core values of your university. And finally, let me turn again to today's celebration. We are all here to mark the fantastic achievements of those that have been awarded their degrees. So on behalf of the university, I would like to extend my sincere congratulations once again to all of you and wish you every success in your future careers. Please stay in touch with us and let us know all about your progress. Well done, and please enjoy the rest of this very special day. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, graduates of the University of Strathclyde, I hope you enjoyed that ceremony as much as we did. The weather is not quite as nice as we would have hoped for, so if you'll bear with us, at the end of the ceremony, the stage party and the students will process down the aisle. We invite you all to join us at the Lord Todd Hall, which is just about 100 yards off to the right, for some refreshments, strawberry cakes and other liquid delights for you to enjoy before you head off to your departments and your lunches. It would be wonderful to have you there. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let me now formally declare this congregation closed. Thank you.
Thank you.